Joining me right now to discuss, Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock. I mean, my goodness, what lawyer would put that in? It basically suggests that the whole darn board knew exactly what he was capable of, and they were trying to somehow protect themselves. But this may actually indict them more.
This is amazing. This is the kind of thing you might have seen maybe in a contract in the 1960s during the Mad Men era, you know, when executives would chase skirts around the typing pool or something like this. But this was 2 years ago. This is extraordinary. This is after all the national discussion about sexual harassment, after the Bill Clinton impeachment, after people being told to be concerned about powerful men and less powerful women. And you'd think if not out of a sense of moral revulsion would the general counsel reject this, but if nothing else out of a sense of limiting liability so they wouldn't get into this kind of legal trouble and potential financial trouble with additional lawsuits from all these women coming forward. I find this is breathtaking. I've never heard of such a thing as sexual harassment clause in somebody's labor contract.
It's wild, but what it does tell you, perhaps, is that they knew. They knew that he was capable of some pretty horrendous stuff. They wanted to make sure that he had penalties if he did any of this stuff. Amazing. So they had these self-imposed penalties. And then if you go on to read other parts of the contract that TMZ obtained, it sounds like as long as he paid these penalties, he thereby made the company whole. They wouldn't take any further action. But Deroy, I just keep going back to, and they knew. They had to have known.
This is like a sexual harassment version of carbon offsets. Go ahead and do what you want. As long as you send in the offset check, it's cool. This goes to show, just when this thing broke, we thought, here's a man who's got moral problems. This guy's a total pig. Now we learn that he's being enabled by his contract, by his counsel and his lawyers at his company, all sorts of stars who stepped forward to defend him. Early stories on this being buried by NBC News. The paper of record finally came out with this story, but they had it years ago and buried it then. And these are the people who lecture us from on high, from Laurel Canyon, with all of their morality spilling forth upon us, great unwashed, about how much more enlightened they are than us. And it turns out that not only did this guy behave in this kind of awful behavior, but all these powerful people lined up to cover it up, to conceal it in a massive conspiracy of silence. I find it shocking and disgusting, and shame on those people.
I mean, what a creep he was. And, you know, you hear things from time to time. I mean, they featured him in that show, remember, on HBO, Entourage, and he was always surrounded by women. And you got this impression that he was a ladies' man. He liked the ladies. No one would have ever thought it was anything like that. I mean, these allegations are horrific. And those poor women, and I've said this before, I hope Hollywood gets blown open and there is a much different standard going forward.
And these are the same people who, again, lecture us about how they respect for women and they stand for women and so on. We have this kind of thing going on and having it covered up for years and put into contract law, no less. That's just mind-blowing.
Unbelievable. Deroy, thank you very much.
Have a great weekend.